This time we're looking at the Breen Battle Cruiser, the Rav Laerst. It's the same ship we had before, same Breen Battle Cruiser, new named version of course, and a couple new upgrades. So we'll take a look. Dial is exactly the same as we had before. It's a pretty maneuverable ship. Has a 3 combat, has some 390 degrees in there. Definitely maneuverable for a cruiser. There we have our Breen Battle Cruiser. And you can see it's decent maneuverability. A little slower than some other ships. Got some reds on the heavy turns, but still maneuverable for the size ship it is. There we have our named Rav Laerst. Unique, Dominion, 3 attack, 2 evade, 4 hull, 4 shield. Down here we got a tech slot, 3 weapon upgrades, and a crew upgrade, which is actually a little bit less than the old Gorportis. I believe it didn't have the tech slot, and it had a couple extra weapon slots. That thing was very weapon heavy. But 26 points. We have evade, target lock, and scan. The special on this lets you perform a sensor echo even if the ship's not cloaked, which it can't cloak, so. And then you may use the 1 maneuver template to do it. So basically it gives you the ability to sensor echo on a ship that normally wouldn't get it, unless, well, I guess you could use the Cardassian cloaking device on there. But we have our generic Breen cruiser. You're losing 1 shield on there. And the same with this one over the old generic is that you're getting that tech upgrade, but you're losing a regular weapon slot for 24 points. Definitely worth it with the abundance of tech upgrades that exist now. For captains, we have Thot Uhlak. It's unique. Skill is 7, which is nice for the Dominion. 1 elite talent, 5 points. And when attacking with the energy dissipator, you can re-roll one of your blank results. Kind of useful. And then we have our generic Breen captain. For our elite talent, we have invaluable advice. It's 2 points. I could see this getting used on the battleship a lot. Before rolling your attack or defense dice, you can discard this card and put a battle stations next to your ship. Triggers off with a couple other upgrades that the Dominion have available that also trigger off of battle stations tokens, so it's another way to get those. Another big thing on this one is that it's a place a token next to your ship. So you could do something like Gul Dukat to take a free action for battle stations and then use this to get a second battle stations token if you wanted. So kind of useful. Our only crew option for this one is the Breen Guards, which are generic. Kind of wish the generic ones would be in the ships you could buy, and they would keep the uniques for the prize ships. Because it's the kind of thing you can run multiples of these, but what are the chances you're going to have multiples? The Breen Guards are crew upgrade, 5 points. And if your ship is not cloaked, disable all your remaining shields. Target a ship at range 1 to 2 that's not cloaked and has no active shields. Disable the Breen Guards and discard 1 crew upgrade of your choice on the target ship. It's pretty much a reusable Klingon boarding party. I kind of like this one. For weapon upgrades, we have the standard Breen energy dissipator. Same one we had before, 5 points. It's a 3 attack, range 1. And you disable this card to perform the attack. If it hits, the target ship suffers no damage but receives an energy dampening token. You can immediately attack that same ship again with another weapon. And this costs 5 points for any non-Breen ship. Or 5 points more. And then we have our reference card for the energy dampening tokens, which basically disables the ship's and all of its shields, removes its cloak, and during the next planning phase they don't get to assign a maneuver, they just drift 1 forward. And then they have to spend their action to remove the token if they want. And our last one here, cold storage units. So tech upgrade, 4 points. Adds 2 extra weapon slots to your ship's upgrade bar. It's kind of unique among all of the things. I think there's only one crewman that came with the Equinox that has something similar. Cold storage units basically turns your newer prize ship here into a more similar version of the Gore Portis and the generic that went with it, with the extra weapon upgrades. As per token wise, we have our 4 shields, which is always nice. We have scan, evasive maneuvers, the critical and auxiliary power tokens, the energy dampening token for the dissipator, disabled for the dissipator, and target lock FF for the ship. We have our standard Breen ship. It's probably one of the best painted of all the models that they have. Still could use a wash. I've seen some people do some really cool things on these with metallic paints, but definitely one of the cooler models. It's definitely one of the cooler models out there. It has a pretty good paint job from the factory. Probably one of the best ones they have. I've seen some people do some really cool washes on these and work with metallic paints, but I haven't messed with mine, so. There we have our base for the named and for the generic. Overall, I think it's a nice ship. The Breen needed another ship for a little bit of variety. Granted, it's the exact same kind, but it gave you some new upgrades and a little bit different slot loadout. I'd like to try running a squad of 3 Breen ships one day. They're a little fragile. They're pretty maneuverable though, so maybe that'll compensate for it. They do have a decent shield hull level, so in the world of barrage of fire and massive alpha strikes though, I think they're a little fragile for what they do. Definitely cool if you're a Breen player out there and you need another ship. It's kind of a minor addition to the Dominion as a whole. They just got the fighters, they just got the battleships, so it's kind of overshadowed by them. I think this is what a prize ship should be. It's a nice addition, it's some cool stuff to have, but there's nothing in there that is must have or game breaking. Definitely a nice ship though. Glad to have picked one up.